everyone, today I'm going to talk about how to be more positive. It's definitely not something you're just born with, or you are or you aren't a positive person. You can definitely choose to look on the bright side, and I'm going to talk more about how I like to do that today. So my favourite way and the first tip is to write a gratitude journal and a highlight of your day. In the morning I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for, and then at the end of the day I also like to think about the highlight of my day. There's a great quote that says, "Not every day is good, but there is something good in every day." And I remember Ingrid Nilsson actually mentions that as one of her favourite quotes in one of her videos literally years ago, and it's really stuck with me. If you purposely look for those positive things, you will find them. And if you're doing that as like a practical exercise, like literally writing things down, or if you don't want to write it down, you could ask your partner or your best friend or a family member, and you could tell each other, actively seeking those things out. It's kind of like when you get a new car, or when you're looking for something specific and you start to see it literally everywhere, and it's not because it wasn't there before, it's because you're conscious of it. And positive things work in exactly the same way. If you make it a habit to look for those things and seek them out, you will naturally become the type of person who sees the positive things in a situation and in everyday life. My second tip is to ask yourself good questions. Now, this isn't necessarily going to be the easiest thing to do. I feel like it's really easy to just moan and be negative for a lot of people. For me, the difficult thing that I really challenge myself to do is discover why I'm being negative about something. Check myself and take a moment and have some self-awareness and think, am I insecure in this situation, or is there something lacking in my life that leads me to feel like I need to be negative to this person or moan about this? And it's really interesting the answers that you'll come up with when you just stop and think about why you're being negative. Or you might even think like you're not perhaps looking after yourself in the way that you should, because I know that if I am feeling bad physically, I am much more prone to negativity. So if I've not slept enough, if I'm not exercising and getting that stress relief out, if I'm not giving my body the food that it needs to like have loads of energy and be, you know, not be really sluggish and groggy, I'm definitely much more prone to mood swings, snapping at people, and just generally being an unpleasant person to be around. So I think there's loads of different reasons why someone perhaps is being more negative, and it's really interesting to just ask yourself some good questions about it. My third tip, you've definitely heard this before, you've definitely heard me mention it before, but that is to surround yourself with positive people. And remember the saying, your vibe attracts your tribe. People love to be around other people who have positive, like supportive, uplifting energy, because it's just like positivity tennis. Like one person bounces off the other and they both lift each other up and leave each other after that conversation or the time they spend together. They leave each other in a much better state than they arrived, if that makes sense. That is something I really try to do. I try to leave someone feeling just a little bit better in their day. In the same way, that also has the opposite effect with negative people. So I would just be really honest with yourself and not let those people in your life who are going to hold you back or negative towards you or negative towards what you want to do or put you down. Try, like, wherever possible, wherever it's in your power to do so, to weed those people out of your life. Wherever possible, just try to surround yourself with people who are going to have your back and are going to support you, because that positive energy will no doubt rub off on you if you're hanging out with those people more. My third piece of advice is to watch your language, and I wrote a weekly letter about this to my email community literally ages ago, so I'll try and track it down and link it below. And that was more to do with what we say about ourselves in conversation to other people. And if you're negative, or if you're being negative, you're likely complaining about yourself and making like self-deprecating jokes and stuff like that. And I would try as much as you can to really cut that out. It's not going to happen overnight because it's probably a habit, but really try and catch yourself when you feel like saying something negative and putting yourself down to someone else in conversation, even if it seems innocent at the time. In the same way that you can use positive affirmations to add that uplifting, like positive energy to yourself, you have the opposite effect when you go around saying to people, you know, oh, I always fail at this, or I'm no good at this, or I look really crap today, or I hate the way my body looks in this outfit, or whatever else. However you personally put yourself down, you are just reiterating that negativity. It's just not good. And I think people underestimate the power of language and the power that words can have on us. And this also applies to just conversation in general. If you're someone who constantly looks for the negative or complains, or is always the person who gets into those conversations where you're perhaps like moaning or bitching about someone else, try to look for a positive in a situation or in a person. As a general rule, being a human being, I just try my best to never ever gossip about people. I just think it's toxic and negative, and it doesn't have any place in my life. My fifth tip is to focus on the small joys of everyday life. There will be so many small things throughout your day that make you happy and make you smile, and I really try to fully acknowledge and savour those things. One thing I wrote about, again, to my email community, if you're not on my email list, you definitely should join. Recently, obviously it's springtime, we have loads of cherry blossoms around my area and they are just stunning, and they only flower and bloom for about a week usually. I don't know whether it's because the weather's bad for them here or that's just how they are, but because they're only here for a week, I realised that, and I just enjoyed them so much more, knowing that it was just like a small, like fleeting thing in my life, to just see these beautiful cherry blossoms every day and really just stop what I was doing, whether I was on a walk or even just looking out my window, just to admire them. Choosing to really savour those small little moments makes such a huge impact to my mood throughout the day. So some other things that I love, just for fun, I love a hot cup of tea. That is like pure joy to me. I love cuddling my cat. Those are just a few, but let me know what yours are in the comments. I can't wait to read about them, and I think it's a really lovely thing to share, especially if everyone is trying to be more positive. It'll be great to see like lots of little things that make you smile in the comments, so I can't wait to read about them. And the final thing I wanted to mention, which is kind of a tip but is kind of just a little note I wanted to include at the end, and this might be a bit different to what you hear in a lot of positivity, law of attraction type stuff, and that is that sometimes life is shit and it's okay to not feel positive all of the time. In fact, a lot of things warrant being negative, whether it's being angry at something that is horrific that's going on in the world, or being upset because something awful has happened to you and you're in a horrible circumstance that you don't deserve to be in. And I think part of being a positive person and living a happy life is honouring your emotions and honouring yourself and what you need. And sometimes you genuinely need like a good cry, you genuinely need to mourn something that has happened to you. Showing that grace to yourself and allowing yourself to feel those things and not beat yourself up about it and feel like you have to be super duper like smiles all round all the time, that actually makes you a normal, well-rounded person. So as much as I talk about positivity, please don't think that I'm discounting people who are genuinely going through shitty times and saying that they have to be positive, because that is definitely not the case, and I am definitely not positive all the time. Please give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. That I really appreciate that, and it does help my channel grow. Please leave any feedback or thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to leave your little small moments of joy. I can't wait to read about them. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!